not saying this is true or not. This is just a study by somebody put out. Excuse me. Dr. Tracy Dennis Tewari was a professor of psychology immersed in research, evaluating which mental health treatments worked and why. When she first became aware of an uptick in anxiety, this was some 15 years ago in New York City, somewhere here, and then on this one, somewhere over here. And I work closely with, this is a quote, I work closely with practicing clinicians, and I remember one of them saying, I'm seeing all these parents and kids coming in, and they're talking about anxiety the way we used to talk about stress. She says, everything is about anxiety. I was part of the problem, however well-intentioned, until I started to wake up about a decade ago and begin thinking, wait a second, what are we saying to people? The idea that anxiety is something to manage or eradicate, whoa, I just saw a duck go, whoa. A habit to be broken is wrong and actually doing us harm. It's literally a recipe for more anxiety. According to The Guardian, this Dr. Tracy Dennis Tewari. So the key distinction between anxiety and an anxiety disorder is functional impairment. So there's a difference. Anxiety disorder and just regular anxiety. When our ways of coping impede on normal life, like perhaps we stop leaving the house, in cases of obsessive compulsive disorder, we might create rituals to dampen the feelings. Dennis Tewari advocates treatments like exposure and response prevention, a cognitive behavioral therapy which helps patients confront whatever they are anxious about. But her biggest wish is to change our approach at a much earlier stage so that anxiety won't drift into a disorder. First, it's the understanding that being anxious is not a malfunction. It's helpful and useful, says Dennis Tewari. If you wake up with that feeling, it's worth tuning in and sitting on it for a while. Why are you feeling like this? She gives the example of her first pregnancy when she learned that her son would require open heart surgery within months of his birth. Her anxiety was off the scale, but it energized her to do everything in her power to minimize the odds of the worst outcome imaginable. She gathered knowledge from every paper ever published about her son's condition. She found the best possible surgeon. She planned for every contingency. She also had money. Anxiety helps us forge forward with creative solutions, but there are times when there is little we can do to address a future uncertainty. Dennis Tewari suggests many ways of coping here. Connecting with friends and family is a soothing first step. Cultivating things that immerse you in the present moment is also helpful. Now, I'm not saying this is true or not. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I just dropped it. But it's interesting. It was an interesting read. I thought it'd be interesting to read it and be my first news article of this new era. And we'll be right back.